Total credit in the United States first exceeded $1 trillion in 1964. This quarter, it will top $100 trillion. This 100-fold increase in credit over the last 60 years has been the most important driver of global economic growth. Credit growth now drives economic growth. Capitalism has evolved into Creditism. When credit growth is strong, so is economic growth. When credit growth is weak, so is the economy. If credit contracts, the economy will spiral into a depression. These facts are the starting point for understanding economics in the 21st century. For this reason, MacroWatch tracks credit growth very carefully. This video will analyze the most recent trends in credit growth and discuss what those trends suggest about the outlook for economic growth. It shows that credit growth has been slowing sharply. Although U.S. economic growth has remained strong so far, the Fed must be concerned that if interest rates remain high, credit growth will slow further and tip the U.S. into recession. This concern may force the Fed to begin cutting the federal funds rate soon, even if inflation remains above the Fed's 2% target. Total credit reached $98.4 trillion at the end of last year, and it will break through $100 trillion during this quarter, and may have already exceeded $1 trillion in the first quarter. This is up from $1 trillion in 1964. So during this presentation, keep in mind that total credit is equal to total debt. One person's debt is another person's asset. So when I speak about credit, this also means debt. You can think of total credit as being the combined debt of all sectors of the economy. This chart shows the annual increase in total debt each year back to 1952. After a record-breaking $8 trillion surge in total debt in 2020, the annual increase slowed to $6.3 trillion in 2021, $5.1 trillion in 2022, and $4.1 trillion in 2023. In percentage terms, the average annual increase in total debt has been 7.8% a year going back to 1952, but it was only 4.4% last year, down from 10.7% in 2020, 7.6% in 2021, and 5.7% in 2022. This chart shows the breakdown of debt by sector. Government debt is $29 trillion. Now this represents just Treasury securities outstanding. Total government debt is actually $34 trillion. Household debt is $20 trillion, corporate debt $14 trillion, GSEs, that's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, $12 trillion, the financial sector excluding the GSEs, $9 trillion, and non-corporate business debt is $8 trillion. Notice that government debt has increased by $23 trillion since 2007, nearly 400%. That prevented two Great Depressions in 16 years. Since 2007, total debt in the United States has increased by $46 trillion, or by 87%. This chart shows that the increase in government debt has accounted for 51% of the increase in total debt since 2007. Without that increase in government debt, it's likely that the U.S. economy